skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Hello, everyone, everywhere. This is Bob Thibodeau with the Kingdom Crossroads podcast, and you are listening to Life Transformation Radio with my good friend Sean Douglas. Be sure to subscribe to his podcast so you will not miss any of the upcoming episodes, and be blessed in all that you do.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. Life Transformation Radio is heard in over 66 countries, such as the United States, Canada, Mexico, all across Europe and Asia, and even New Zealand and Australia. So I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that has changed our lives and how we use this to then transform others and elevate the world around us. You can listen to us live right here on Blog Talk Radio Network or anywhere you are comfortable listening to podcasts. You can catch us live on Blog Talk Radio at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio community, and please subscribe to Life Transformation Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, the Google Play Music app. And I ask that you rate and review the show. I love reading what people think about the show. I love to know that the messages that are on the show are getting through and are resonating with the listeners, because that's what the show's all about, the listeners and the guests that I bring on the show. They are entrepreneurs, speakers, and business owners, coaches, podcasters, and authors who are amazing people who are impacting the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for anyone that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, you could call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. I ask if you're listening to the replay, catch us during a live broadcast and join in the fun. And now, please help me welcome my friend, Wally Carmichael. What's up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Sean? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing amazing, man. It's a great day. How are you?
It's absolutely amazing. I was watching you just before our conversation here on Facebook, so I know you're all got a lot of good stuff going on, man. I dig what you're doing.
Oh, man. You know, sometimes I'll do like a Facebook Live and it just turns into like this really crazy rant. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do like a 4 or 5 minute Facebook Live. I got like 20 minutes. Like, I don't know. But I don't know.
I got to curb my enthusiasm sometimes too.
Right? Like, you never know. You're like, I'm on a roll. I'm going to keep going. I'm on a roll. And then people are like joining in and, you know, I'm like, heck yeah. So,
that's fun.
But hey, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. And we're going to dig into some amazing, amazing things that you have going on in your world, man, and how transformation has shown up in your life. So really excited to do that today.
Yeah, I'm excited to share.
So the title of this episode is Men of Abundance with Wally Carmichael. Wally is a leader in living a life of abundance and prosperity. His no BS, fun, and exciting approach to life and business stem from his tough background in 25 years as a U.S. Army airborne medic. He's the founder and host of the Men of Abundance podcast, the Pay It Forward community, which is downloaded in 63 countries and growing. He is also the founder of Abundance and Prosperity Mastery, where he helps business owners unlock hidden revenue without spending another dime on marketing. Wally is the author of No BS Business Breakthrough, how to double your lead conversions and triple your revenue in less than 45 minutes. Wally's world travels, extensive connections, unique ability to read people, build strong teams, and create strategic marketing and business strategies makes him a popular resource for many small to medium-sized business owners who are ready to finally live the life of abundance and prosperity they know they deserve. He is extremely grateful to be living the amazing life of his dreams with his wife of 26 years, Tracy, and 2 of his 3 boys. Inside the show notes, right here is Facebook, LinkedIn. His website is menofabundance.com, menofabundance.com. Subscribe to his show and send a rating and review his way as well. Go to the NoBSBusinessBreakthrough.com and APMasteryCoach.com to learn more about Wally Carmichael. So after reading all that, I have to ask you, what is your why? What is your deep, deep why for what you do?
Well, my why stems from my own personal lifestyle and my background anyway, struggling, literally growing up in a trailer behind another man's house. We couldn't even afford the trailer. And then to get, just span over 25 years to get to where I'm at today. And looking back on how I struggled and how I just felt that I was doing the right things in my life, but just was not pushing through, just was not getting to the level that I wanted to. And I've realized over the years that there are many reasons why that occurred. There's patterns. With Men of Abundance in almost 3 years and talking to well over 250 very abundant leaders, men and women, there's some patterns. And I just realized that I have the skills and the knowledge and the ability and the time, quite frankly, to be able to pay it forward and help other men, and I only work with men, to live the life of abundance and prosperity and family, faith, finances, and fitness that they know they deserve. And I just help them push through that, get past themselves, get out of their own way, because that's many times what's happening.
What do you mean, out of their own way?
Well, a lot of it, let's say, for instance, with business. As I talk to business owners, a lot of business owners, what they want is they want strategies. Great. And this is true in anything.
Right.
If you want to learn another language, you want to learn another instrument, you want to learn an instrument, whatever it is, you need strategies, right? But 80% of excelling in anything in life is mindset. And the mindset comes from their programming from, there's studies out there that show that by the time a child is 5 or 8 years old, they are who they're going to be because they were molded into that. And that's
really?
True. The thing is,
between 5 and 8?
Yeah, between around about 5 and 8 is basically who they are going to be. Now, there's a lot of studies about this in psychology and whatnot, but the problem is with that idea is that if you believe that that's the case, which it is, but if you believe that that's the case and that's all you're going to be throughout the rest of your life, then you're living a life of scarcity. That's a scarcity mindset, because the thing is you can change. Your mind can be reprogrammed. It doesn't, you've heard the old saying, can't teach an old dog new tricks. Fact is, you can. It might be a little slower, but if the person wants to enhance their life and they truly want what their goals are, that if they've ever written them down, most don't, but if they truly want the goals that they think they want in their head, then they have to be able to basically retell their story, because they're telling themselves a story from the past. For instance, money is evil. People who have money are greedy. If for me to live a good life when other people aren't, it's just not godly. It's not right. This type of stuff. These are things that we're told as kids, whether it's from the church, our parents, or whatever, in school, and that sticks with us, and it stays in the back of our mind. And I have a lot of different techniques and way to have conversations with guys. Now, the thing is, this is the interesting thing about what I do, is when I work with business owners, many of them don't get into all this mumbo jumbo type of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm teaching them business skills, hard business skills, and I have lots of videos and workbooks and all this kind of stuff. But as I'm having conversations with them, I'm correcting the words that they use. I'm subtly correcting the way that they talk to themselves. I'm subtly correcting even some of their staff members to basically enhance their mindset that is allowing them to stop that story and create a new story in their life.
That's awesome. You know, I have a TEDx talk kind of about what you're saying. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of about what you're saying. It's called Hack Your Brain for Success. And one of the things that I talked about was building daily habits and building daily successful habits. And they actually have research that shows that you can learn new things. You absolutely can learn new things and be successful at them.
Yeah, absolutely.
My whole TEDx talk was about this. And the one thing that stands out is that your brain structure changes according to the new things that you learn and how you grow. And so you always talk about a growth mindset. It literally will grow your brain. And in the study that I used, these London cab drivers in the MRI had grown the hippocampus area of their brain, which is responsible for spatial navigation. Well, you use spatial navigation whenever you're navigating roads. So because they did it all the time and they learned habits of how they can remember and memorize the road layout in London, they grew their brain. By having habits that allowed them to memorize the roads, it grew their brain.
Man, that is impressive. Yeah, I absolutely love studies like that, and I just constantly reading and consuming content, whether it's videos or audio or anything of that nature, around mindset and learning and enhancing our mindset. We change, yeah, of course, and one of the things that it just hurts me when I hear somebody say, well, that's just who I am, that's what I am always going to be, and I'm just never going to change. Well, if who you are is destructive to yourself and others around you, then my goodness, that is just a terrible thing to tell yourself.
Oh, 100%. So give us a transformational moment that has changed your life that has now put you on the path to what you're doing today.
So with me, as I mentioned a little bit about my upbringing, is I've always been entrepreneurial, and I've always been that guy chasing that 6 and 7 figure income. And now I say, I didn't use this verbiage before, but now I say I was ungratefully chasing a 6 and 7 figure income. And about 4 years ago, I'm sitting on the beach in Hawaii, literally in front of my house. I had already been living there about 7 years. I'm retired out of the Army, and I have, a great job at the time. It was actually the job that I was doing when I retired. I just went back and just continued doing what I was doing because I enjoyed it. And I'm sitting on the beach in the gazebo, drinking my coffee. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Sun is out. My son at the time, I think he was 6 or 7, he's in the water, playing around in the waves. And I've got my headset on. I'm listening to a podcast, probably learning how to make more money and improve my life. And my son said, Dad, come play with me, come in the water. And I just motioned to him, no, I'm listening to my headset, let me finish this. And as his face changed from excitement to disappointment, it hit me. It was like a brick. It was like my wife was standing right behind me, and she said, Wally, what the hell are you chasing? The same thing she's told me for many years in the past. And I'm telling you, Sean, I was that guy that was so dedicated to getting this lifestyle that I literally went $30,000 in credit card debt twice trying to do this. And here I am sitting on the beach in Hawaii, have a 6-figure income, not a huge 6-figure income, but a comfortable 6-figure income, comfortable income, let's put it that way. Kid in the water, my second boy is in the house behind me asleep, my wife is asleep, my third boy's out doing his thing, a little bit older, and I'm living the life of my dreams. I just didn't realize it. I just wanted more. I wanted more. And that's when this whole abundance journey started. Long story short, I ended up in the process of writing a book, Living Your Life of Abundance, because I wanted to share this kind of epiphany that I had. But as I was writing the book, it was more of a biography, and I just realized I didn't want it to be that. I knew there were other men and women out there. There were other people that were living this life of abundance. I wanted those stories. So I had the idea of creating a podcast to collect those stories. And here I am now, 223 episodes in, almost 24 as of tomorrow. And I've got some amazing stories. And along the way, that kind of just turned into a coaching business. But I originally started the podcast just for the purpose for me to have conversations with amazing people. And that I have. I am blessed to have twice a week at least amazing conversations with people like Lee Cockerell, the former VP of Disney World Resorts, Jay Papazan, the co-author with Gary Keller of the One Thing, and just many others that people I would have never been introduced to had I not started that journey.
Oh, 100%. I had Bruce Buffer, who is the voice of the Octagon, right? UFC announcer, yeah. Bruce Buffer. We talked about his brother, which I didn't even know that it was his brother, but it is, Michael Buffer, who was the, Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy.
Yeah.
I had Frank Shankowitz, who is the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, had him on my show. I mean, it's just amazing that the conversations that I can have based on this particular platform, because this right here, what you and I are doing, cuts through all the weird like red tape and like stupid stuff that society or whoever has put in front of ways. Says, oh no, they're celebrities. You can't reach them. You can't talk to them. This is what this has done. The podcast is allowed to do that.
Yeah,
and everybody wants to get involved. Everybody wants to share stories on podcasts. It's like that. It's like that fourth wall in live theater. Like you don't break that fourth wall. Like this is the fourth wall. Like this is it. This is it. This is how you can reach people who are.
It's amazing. I literally got contacted by the people of Patrick Kirkpatrick, who's an actor. He's acted in so many different shows. His people. It got to the point where, and I feel so bad because, quite frankly, I was supposed to speak with him this week, but I had to cancel or reschedule, and so I owe him one for sure. But it's just I just grow from every single one of these conversations, and then I get to be able to do this and get on other people's shows, and just grow even more through these conversations, and then share this with you, like 67 countries around the world, and all the amazing people that are listening. It's just amazing the technology that we have to be able to share these stories and our messages.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So how is it that you elevate the world around you? Is it through the podcast? Do you have coaching, programs, products, services? Talk about that. What is it that you do in the world that elevates everybody involved?
Yeah, so primarily through the podcast, one, through the conversations that I share, but also what I do is I lift up what I've started doing more recently, and I've been doing this throughout the course of the show, is I lift up different businesses. So if it's a business that I personally resonate with and I just think it's a great service or product, then I will mention it on the show. It's not a sponsorship of any kind. It's just something that I do. And more recently, I've been really seeking out veteran business owners, and I just do a little mid-roll for them, and then I put their links or whatever in the show, and that has really helped these businesses get lifted up and get some free publicity because I've got a voice, and I'm able to put that out there for them. I literally just had a veteran today contact me and ask me a favor to share on Facebook, and I said, I'll do you one better. I'll put it on my podcast. And he's a former Marine. He's a Marine. Never a former Marine, but he's a Marine, and he's got a great product, and I know him personally. So I said, too easy, man. I'll do that. But then the show, The Men of Abundance, about 6 to 8 months in, transformed into a coaching opportunity, which I didn't expect to happen. So what I did was I basically, as I started to mention earlier, is I combined the abundance mindset with business and marketing strategies, and I created Abundance and Prosperity Mastery. And through that, I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and I have a DIY e-learning platform for those that are really, just kind of do-it-yourselfers, or they just don't have the funds to buy into a coaching program. They still get access to just millions of dollars worth of done-for-you marketing products and strategies with videos and workbooks and the whole bit. They get full access to that. So that's what I do, and it's just an honor to be able to lift these businesses up, because when you lift up a business, one, you're improving that individual's life, the business owner, because most of them, when they realize they're not doing very well, their initial idea is to put more time and money into the business, and that doesn't work. That takes away from their health and their family and their leisure time, right, and their income. So what I teach them is you can actually make more money and put less time into the business. There's just a few strategies you need to implement, but first you need to get down to the basics and do all this stuff. And when I can do that, then it just improves the individual, the family, the community, their employees. They get to stay employed, So, and they get to keep providing that service to people. So it's just amazing. I just love it.
I love that. So, in all of that, right, your world travels and everything, you wrote a book, which I absolutely love because I have a book. I have two books, but one of my books, and I looked this up, and nobody's really doing this except for, like you and I. But your book is called The No BS Business Breakthrough. Mine's called The No BS No Fluff Guide. So I added that little no fluff, right?
Mm-hmm.
The No BS No Fluff Guide to Getting Booked to Speak. Yours is the No BS Business Breakthrough, how to double your lead conversions and triple your revenue in 45 minutes. That's you can't niche down further than that. You're literally going to do this in 45 minutes. That's amazing.
Yeah. And the 45 minutes really is what it takes just to review your business. And I can sit down with you within 45 minutes, and you can do this with the book. And you can see in my book, I have 8 of well over 100 different strategies that I can use in a business over the course of a year. But these 8 are the top 8 that I primarily use to get quick revenue increases in the business. But they can sit down and they can look at this stuff and they can go, I see exactly where I can implement this in my business and greatly increase my revenue and profits. So that's where the 45 minutes comes from. And then they got to implement it. And many can implement it some can implement it on their own. Most can't, most won't. And that's where a coach comes in, or that's where a consultant comes in, like myself, that I've done it with many different industries, and I've got all these different templates that I can, have access to. So I just know how to get it done.
Oh, I love that. I'm a systems and strategy guy. I'm absolutely in love with systems and strategies that get you the targeted result that you're looking for.
I geek out.
A lot of people don't. What's that?
Yeah, I totally geek out on it. I love strategies.
Yep.
Life strategies, and that's what I do, business and life strategies. I just totally geek out on it.
Yeah, so I was mentoring somebody before Christmas, and I was like, "Hey, man, so talk to me about your lead generation strategies, man. What do you do?" He's like, I post on Facebook." That's it? That's all you do? He's like, "Yeah, I put out a couple posts. I'm like, do you have any call to actions in there? Follow on stuff? Go check out my website." He's like, "Yeah, I don't really have a website." Well, that's an issue. Okay. What else, man? What's a lead generation strategy for you? And so he just basically told me, he's like, "I just kind of post on social media." I'm like, what? That's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. That's not a strategy. And so I went through my top 4 strategies. And he was like, wow. I'm like, that is a strategy because you're getting a targeted result that you want to happen. If you do this, then this happens. And that's what I do. I implement systems and strategies to get a targeted result that you want to happen. And it sounds like you do the same exact thing.
Yeah, I do. And one of the things that I do is a lot of business owners really think that they need more leads. And I let them believe that. What they really need is, they need leads. Leads are extremely important. But they really need to do is to know how to convert those leads. But and real quick, what I can do is I can go in and look at somebody's website. And first off, most people are marketing and they're sending people directly to their website, which is in my mindset and my strategies and my data shows that that's in completely the wrong thing to do. Or they'll say on their website, call us. Or they'll say, hey, we got this coupon if you call us within the next 45 minutes. People they search things on price only because businesses give them that's the only reason they give them. So what I do with them is, for instance, we had a child psychologist who he had 9 different specialties that he specialized in. Basically anger management, teen pregnancy, bullying, all this kind of stuff, right? Well, we took one of his top ones where he had more people coming in to see him. He took one of those top ones, and we just created a squeeze page for him. He stopped sending people to his website because they get confused when they go there, and a confused mind goes away. They just close the page. We greatly increased, no more leads going to the site. He wasn't increasing. He was getting like 300 clicking on his ad. But out of that 300, we greatly increased his opt-in rate to get a consultation with him. And he was a very good closer. He literally closed 100% of the people he got on the phone. And it was basically like a faucet. He had to turn it on and off. And then the next step is to take a business like that, which is a whole other strategy, is teach them how to license that to other child psychologists and greatly increase his revenue without putting in more time. And that's just one of. So what I do is not just the marketing part, because marketing is important, but the way to get revenue in a business super quick is the business strategies within the business. I'm talking about pricing. I'm talking about different value-added services. There's just so many different strategies that you can use within the business. But it doesn't cost any money. It just a few tweaks here and there, and they greatly increase their revenue. Continue doing the marketing because you're going to have to bring in more clients, of course. But most of the people I talk to, they're word of mouth. And word of mouth is great, but you can't count on that. You can't track it, right? So there's the strategy.
Yeah, well,
it's out the window.
37% of my business comes from referrals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
I love
important.
referrals.
Yeah, I do too. I absolutely do too. But the other thing it depends on the type of, most of the businesses that I work with are like contractors, like HVAC, plumbers, stuff like this, chiropractors and whatnot. So a lot of them are more brick and mortar type stuff, and they get to the point to where these businesses they need more revenue, they need more profits, but they have no more time. For instance, a guy I was working with, a fence guy, putting in fences out here. He's only got the team he can only do so many jobs at a time, but he needs more money. He needs more revenue. Well, there's strategies that you can use to increase your revenue because they can't handle any more business. They can't handle so there's something else that they have to do within the business to increase revenue.
Right. So isn't a lead page, squeeze page, isn't that all the same? Like you have a landing page, lead page, squeeze page, like isn't that kind of the same thing?
That's all terminology. It's all basically the same thing. Yeah, but the difference is when somebody's spending money for pay-per-click, for instance, and they're sending people, and I click on the link and it goes to their website, and on their website, for instance, back with the child psychologist or even a chiropractor who does many different things, a chiropractor does many different, can focus on many different ailments. They can sit and look at which ones they do more often than others. And when somebody goes on Google and they're searching for specific lower back pain, or if they're specifically searching for a child, the way that their behavior disorder, I'm talking these kids are throwing a freaking fit for the 12th time today. And the mom's at her wit's end, and she's searching on Google for a child psychologist, and she sees this page that's got like 9 different things that this guy does. And then he's got a video that says, hey, just click here. We've got, 10 million articles for you to read and a ton of other, videos and stuff. She don't have time for that. She's just going to click off and go to the next thing or just be frustrated. So what we did was we just changed it to that one disorder. And she goes, and the headline will say something like, are you sick and tired of your child throwing a fit for the 50th time today? And she's like, hell yeah, that's exactly why I'm Googling. Well, and then they get their attention, and then he basically says, well, I can show you how to stop that in 60 seconds. Just give me your name and email, and I'll send you a series of 60-second videos to bring peace and order to your house right now today. And she's like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now, the difference is the other website wasn't getting anybody to call. That's all he was doing was calling me for a consultation. So it's just to tweak a little thing, and you're talking directly to the client at the time and having a conversation that's going on in their head at that point in time.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Just creating that page makes all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes all the difference. And he can do that. The cool thing about it is this guy, for instance, in this example, he can do that for all 9 disorders, all 9 specialties that he works on. He can do one for each one, but he only did them for the top 3 because those were most of his bread and butter. He was spending most of his time, and that's where he's excellent at. He can address the other issues, but he can really address these, and that's where the, as far as pay-per-click and stuff, he literally had to turn it off and on like a faucet.
Wow. Kind of makes me second guess my stance on that, because I don't have a squeeze bait. Like I don't have any of that stuff. For my speaking, my speaker business, my mentoring business, I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of like, nah, man, I got my website, tells exactly what to do because I only niche down. So it comes into an interesting conversation. You said mindset and a couple of things that you talk about. Was it the squeeze page that really did the business, that really changed things, or was it his positioning or the niching down? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense, and it's one and the same really, because he niched down. He knew what his specific specialty was, but he had them all listed there, and then he had the video that was generic. And the top had his logo. Nobody cares about a logo when they're looking for stuff like this. And
right.
It said, "Hey, I'm Dr. Smith. I'm a child." He's trying to be all things to all people, and that's what everybody in his industry does. In most industries, that's what they do. They try to be all things to all people. Even many coaches,
right.
even many business coaches, and plumbers, for instance. A plumber can specialize in many different things as well. And if somebody's looking online for a specific issue that's going on in the industry, they're going to find the one. If they find the one that specifically addresses what it is that they're looking for, that's the company that they're going to go for. That's the one they're going to go with because they're talking directly to them and having that conversation that they're having in their mind at that point in time. So, and again, he's taking his specialties and he's niching them down further, but he's creating different squeeze pages for each of those specialties. So he's niching down 3 times, for instance, in the child psychologist's case.
Wow. Okay. Now that I got it a little more explained, yeah, I totally get it. Because I was like, man, just having a squeeze page and, just that. I mean, my website's pretty. I mean, it's not great. I mean, it's not like $1 million website. I'm always touching it up and doing some different things, but I'm pretty niche down as far as I can go. With my website, there's a couple of things that I could change, here and there, but like you said, trying to be, something to everybody just is not going to work. It just doesn't work, no matter who you are, that's why.
Yeah, and the other thing to that, you're always here. You can't please, if you try to please everybody all the time, you're going to please nobody. You're just going to be a charlatan out there, And here's the thing, Sean, if you're doing fine, like there's some companies I talk to and they're doing fine in their marketing. I mean, they literally, like I said, I talked to an architect, for instance, and he's like, Wally, I'm busy. I got more work than I can handle. I'm turning work away, but I need more money. And I said, okay, then, for instance, here's another strategy that I use with a lot of these contractors, a lot of these guys. I said, well, do you have contractors that you communicate with that you're the architect, you draw up the plans, somebody builds it. Do you have a relationship with those people? And he said, yeah, of course. There's like 5 or 6 different guys that I call, and they'll do bathrooms, they'll do whatever. And I said, well, have you monetized that relationship? He's like, no, I've been working with these guys for years. I said, there's your money. That's where your income's at, because you're giving them business that they would otherwise have to market for or whatever they have to do to spend money to get. You got to monetize those relationships. Maybe not those ones, but find some other relationships that you can joint venture with and monetize that. And then when you do your architecture drawings, draw in some speakers and some security systems and stuff like that and say, hey, you know what? I know a guy. If you do want to put this in there, I know a guy that will give you this at a great price, and connect with the guys, the electricians out there and the security companies that can put that stuff in. And then all he does is have to say, hey, I got a job for you. They're going to do this. This contract's going to come in, so on and so forth. And from 5 or 6 different contracts off of his one job, he can get paid off the architect, off of what he does as an architect with all the CAD drawings and everything. Give that to the contractor, and then he can turn around and make money 5 different times off that one job.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. So, but the other thing is like, for instance, if you're doing great and, you're getting more than enough, word of mouth jobs and word of mouth referrals and stuff like that, you don't need that kind. The marketing is not what the problem is. If your revenue's, cash poor, you've got a lot of stuff going on, then you need to change some business strategies, change some pricing, add some, maybe some products that others can't afford. The top product, add some other products, or even add some higher tier products.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I was thinking as you were saying all that. It goes back to the abundance. We're talking about some lead generation stuff, talking about some business stuff. Well, I'm a business positioning strategist where I position you the way that you want to be positioned. Again, by implementing systems and strategies, but I position you in the market so that the market receives how you want to be received. And I said this, a couple of days ago. I said either you position yourself in the market or the market positions you based on how they see you, how they interpret you, right?
Yeah.
So talking about abundance mindset, if we do the same thing, having a scarcity mindset, there's no way I'd have you on my show if I had a scarcity mindset because you'd be competition. But I don't believe in competition because I believe in abundance. So I just thought that was super interesting.
No, I've had that conversation. People have said, Wally, why the hell did you have that guy on your show? He does basically the same thing you do. And I'm like, no, he doesn't do it exactly like I do. And I can't do it exactly like he or she does. And by the way, I cannot possibly, like you were talking about before, I heard you talking about on Facebook, you can't help. If I want to help 1 million people, I can't help 1 million people today. Somebody's got to help them. Somebody's got to work with them. And if you're the type of person that I can work with, but I just don't have the capacity right now, I will refer you to somebody else rather than leave you hanging. That's just the way I roll. And because it's,
same way.
What you want in your life, what you want more of in your life, give that. You want more love, give more love. You want more money, give more money. You want more knowledge, give some knowledge. You want more jobs in your life, give out some jobs. Lift other people up. That's why I've lifted people up on my show who do the same thing I do, similar to it, but not exactly the same way I do it.
Sure.
But somebody else is going to resonate better with them than they will with me. Some people don't like me. I'm cool with that. But I'll still help you. You're still a fellow man. You know what I'm
saying? Right. So with that said, let's talk about your podcast, The Men of Abundance. How did that get started? Why start that? And what's it all about?
Yeah, so that's basically, what I was saying that day on the beach. It kind of evolved into that. I originally started the podcast because I wanted to gather stories for a book, Living a Life of Abundance, which I've yet to write. But now, as of this last week, I am 100% job free. I mean, I don't work for anybody but myself and my clients and my kids and my wife. That's it. So I've got a lot more time on my hands, so I'm going to get that book written. I've got more than enough content. But the podcast has taken on a life of its own. It started out slow, as many do, because I wanted to interview people. And now I literally turn people away. I get so many requests to come on my show. I vet every single one of them, and I've done pretty good at it. And I'm literally booked out into April right now. Even my podcast episodes, I'm not like you where it's going to post right away. I do the editing. I love doing that part, and I love going in and being able to add some things, like I was saying, some mid-rolls for some people that I'm lifting up. So it's just, and it blows my mind that 63 countries are listening, to my voice in their ear holes, man. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and one of the things that we talked. So again, I'm going to bring this up. Abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. My friend Robert Thibodeau has a radio show or a podcast. And he was the role before the show started. Mm-hmm. And so I do this for other podcasts. Like, why would you? Like, don't they want to listen to your show? Like, well, yeah, but I want to lift up other people's shows too. Like, there's a lot of. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of podcasts. if I can
Yeah.
if I could help anybody, like, why not? Number one, it's good karma. Number two, it's professional. Number three, it just feels great. Like,
Yeah.
there's no downside. It's not like they're gonna stop listening to my show and then automatically go seek out this other person's show just because of a 20-second audio clip at the beginning of my show. Like, oh, well, School Life Transformation Radio, I'm going to listen to his show. They're just going to write down the name of the show and then listen to it later after they're done listening to mine. So it's like, why, like, the whole collaboration versus like, nobody's my competition. There's nobody that's playing my competition because they don't do it like I do it.
Right.
I'm my own person. I'm the product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly. I mean, I've got a pre-show intro that other people do for me. I put it on my show once in a while. I don't get them all the time. I got one from John Lee Dumas, for goodness sake, VO Fire, because he was one of my mentors when I first got started. So he did a pre-show intro for me. So, if you have that mindset, it's like people constantly, it just shows me this when somebody says, well, people are out to rip you off. Are there people out there that are out to rip some people off? Absolutely, they're out there. I don't go looking for them because if you look what you look for, you're going to find. And I don't let that stop me from doing what I want to do. If that happens, it's going to happen, but I'm not going to expect it. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and I'm just not going to get into that. But if I'm lifting other people up on the other hand, and just so much more. Look. From the time that I started living my life and living a life of abundance and being grateful for what I truly had in my life already, and every single morning I have an attitude of gratitude and I write it down on my journal. That's how I start my show as well. Ever since I started doing that, so much more started coming into my life. And the funny thing is if I really look at it, if I'm really honest, most of that stuff in those connections and those relationships and the abundance, most of that was already there. I just wasn't seeing it. Because I wasn't grateful for what I currently had. So once you get grateful for what you currently have, I'm telling you, so much more comes into your life. And, giving and contributing are two of the biggest things that most people get. That one of the patterns that I've found with people who are just living an amazing life, whether they're earning $70,000 a year or, $70 million a year. And I've talked to some of those guys too. The one thing that's for sure is the ones that finally figure it out are the ones that are givers and contributors.
Love it.
Those are the ones that are happy, because we both know people that are multimillionaires that are unhappy, but that's because they're still immature as far as I'm concerned. And they're who they are as a person.
Wow. All right. I like how you think there. Totally makes sense.
No,
but that's what's different.
Like
that's different about you,
a lot from all the conversations. What's that?
I said that's what makes you different and marketable.
Yeah.
And people buy into your content. People buy into what you're doing, and because they believe it too. I talked about this earlier. The thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that people have: abundance, prosperity, scarcity, broke mindset. The thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that people have is what drives their reactions and their decisions. So how do we change it? By changing the stories we tell ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. You change your story, change your life, change your questions. Yep. If you get up in the morning and say, oh my God, why do I have to go to work today? It's like, oh my God, how can I make today awesome? Why am I so blessed to have this job? You can get into the whole thing of somebody's always got it worse off than you, but that doesn't make you feel better, and it doesn't really do anything for you in the moment. So you just have to change your story, and you just be blessed that you have a job, because that job is paying your bills. Maybe not as well as you'd like them to, but it's doing the job at this moment in time.
Yeah, 100%. Where can we find your podcast?
menofabundance.com. It's and of course on iTunes and any podcast player that whatever your favorite podcast player is out there that you like to use.
Do you ever Google yourself for podcasts?
If you Google my name, Wally Carmichael, I take up the first 5 pages of Google.
Why is that?
Well, I've been doing something for a long time. You'll find mostly here recently, what you'll find in more recent, the first 3 to 4 pages is either one of my shows, some content that I've written, or one of the shows that I've been on, that been featured on. And just today, as a matter of fact, just this morning, DataBird just posted the top 100 podcasts to listen to in 2019 based off the data that they do, some data thing. And my podcast, Men of Abundance, is shortlisted. It's like in the top 30 or something like that. And they say I don't know that it's in any particular order, but I'm on the list. And that just blew my freaking mind, man, to start out 2019 like that. So, you search my name, you're going to find what I've been doing for the last couple of years.
So I saw that post that you had posted. I'm like, I don't know what he means. Shortlisted, I don't, So what you're saying is an article came out or something came out that said that this is like one of the top podcasts, whatever.
Yeah, along with Gimlet and some other podcasts that I've listened to in the past.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I want to find that list.
Yeah, the link is in there. The link is in my post. I'll provide it to you as well. But it's
okay. Yeah, I want to see the list because I know I'm an icon of influence at Steve Ultra's event, New Media Summit, and it's 40 iconic podcasters meet for 3 days, and there's about 150 people that attend the event, and then we cap it. It's done. So 150 people attend the event. That's it. And we basically talk podcasts. We build shows. We show you how to market, show you how to grow, show you how to monetize, and then we'll book the attendees on our shows if we feel like they're worth booking, right? I mean, there's some people that are like, nah, you wouldn't be a fit for my show. There's some shows like I'm only a relationship show, so if you want to be on my show, you have to talk about relationships. And people are like, I don't want to talk about relationships. Well, then you're not a fit for the show.
Yeah,
but I'll out of that event, I'll probably book 20 or 30 of the guests that are there. Because right now I'm booked out until April 19th. I just had I use Calendly, and Calendly just sent me a notification through my email that said guest scheduled for, and it said April 19th. I'm like, geez, I'm already booked up till April. Good God. I don't just give my link to anybody. That's the thing. I don't just give my link to anybody. So it's just amazing that I'm like.
I have it posted on my website. It used to be on my website to be a podcast guest. Just click here, and then you could basically schedule yourself. I took that off almost 2 years ago because I was getting some real garbage out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, now I either get either contact people that I want to have a conversation with, or I get I have a couple different agencies. Interview Valet is one of them. A couple different agencies who book people for podcasts, and I think like 4 or 5 of them send me client or guests to talk to on a regular basis.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, because they know exactly who I'm looking for, so it makes it easier.
Perfect. So, Life Transformation Radio listeners, if you're listening right now, I need you to go search for the Men of Abundance podcast, subscribe, rate, and review Wally Show. Absolutely amazing show. And if you have any questions about anything that we're talking about, you can call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. So as we start to close the show and wrap the show, we're going to do a shameless plug. You can plug friends, quotes, websites, Facebook, whatever it is that you want the listeners to know and to do. Here's where you can plug it. Shameless plug moment. Go.
Well, actually, what I'd like to do is, in the spirit of lifting other people up, is I'm actually in the process of revamping my resources page, and I'm putting more of the people that I contact or that I want to lift up on the show, either on the show or otherwise. I mean, just some amazing services, everything from copywriters to veteran signs by veterans. Another veteran who just does amazing signs for different businesses and just all kinds of stuff. I'm not affiliated. Well, I'm affiliated with a couple of the links on there, but most of them are just people that I'm just trying to lift up and really want to get the word out about them. So if you just go to menofabundance.com and click on the resources tab, that's where you're going to find out. That way I'll be able to just lift up a bunch of people at one time. And you can just go there and look around and see the type of businesses and the type of services and the type of people that I like to align with based on their values and the services that they provide. So there you go. Just go to menofabundance.com, click on the resources tab, and you'll find everybody that I lift up over there.
Awesome. I just put a resources or recommendations, or I forgot what the tab was now, recommendations, resources, something like that, on my website, and I listed like a bunch of the, website hosting, business tools, some of the, software, whatever that I use. And people have really, really enjoyed that. Like, oh, I didn't even know about this, or I didn't know about that. I'm like, heck yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was a really great idea. And I have to go look at that, see what you got going on over there. So
yeah, it's a good time. In fact, the funny thing is I just got contacted, another one that just contacted me recently, and they want to share my show on all of their, they got a huge following for this particular product, and they want me to put a link up on the resources tab. They saw that, and they contacted me and asked if I'd do that. So I'm looking at them and seeing what they're all about before I go ahead and move forward. I don't care about them pushing out and getting a whole bunch more views and subscribers to Men of Abundance if it's a product that I just can't resonate with. The way I see it, if I can't sit down and have dinner in my house with them and my family, then I don't want them on my show. Or the link in my website, right?
That's a pretty good standard. If I'm not going to have dinner with you,
I have high standards.
I love that, man. I love that. So give us as we close the show, give us a nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action.
Look, we live in the safest time in history. We have more resources at our fingertips. Sean and I can sit here and talk to people, and I know you have. I've had conversations. Most of my podcast was recorded from the cab of my Toyota Tacoma 2011 pickup truck with a MacBook and a microphone. And I'm talking to guys in Japan. And then I shared that out to 63 different countries. There is so much in the world, and if there's one book that I could recommend to prove this to you, data-driven, it's not all the woo-woo stuff that so many people talk about. There's a book called Abundance by Peter Diamandis, and look up Peter Diamandis, an amazing individual, but he has data that shows how much abundance is in the world, everything from resources like water, education, knowledge, all the resources that you can possibly think of that you need in your life. We have an abundance of it. It's just a matter of harnessing it yourself and then properly distributing it amongst your community. So just know that we live in a very, very safe, regardless of all the media stuff and everything else that you've heard throughout here and there. We literally live in the safest time in history, and there is so many resources out there for you to partake in. And by you partaking in resources doesn't mean you're taking away from others. That's another big, big mind block that many people have, is that if I have more, somebody else has less. And it's simply not true if it's done properly.
I love it. Yep. Yeah, like I said, there's nothing that I compete with. There's just not. Even if you look at my show, I just gave somebody a number to call into my show. I don't know too many other podcasts that are doing that. You know what I mean? So
I've never been on one that does. That's cool.
I've had people call in. I've had people call into from Australia. I've had people call in, from all over the place. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I just love having the option there. I absolutely love having the option. So, but I wanted to set myself apart. I wanted to be different, So I don't look at myself as competition. I just figure out how to stand out. And I'm not concerned with what everybody else is doing, because everybody else is on their own journey, And it speaks to there's 7 billion people. I was talking earlier. I said, change lives. Set the standard. Change lives. I'm like, that's awesome. You want to change lives? You change all 7 billion of them. oh, well, I got to post my stuff everywhere because everybody needs to take my marketing course. And are you going to have 7 billion people take your course? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at it in big terms, 7 billion people on the planet. You're complaining. Right?
Real quick, Sean. Real quick. Listen, for instance, with myself, with my coaching business, I can only handle, because of my lifestyle and the way I want to live, I can only handle at one time 5 people if I was going to individually coach one-on-one.
Right.
5 people. And that was more than enough pay for anything that I had to do, period. Now, what's going to happen is those 5 people, they're touching, each of them, maybe touching 10, 20, 30, maybe 100 different people just by me assisting those 5 people. And quite frankly, I don't have to do any of that. I don't have to do any of the coaching. I'm good by myself with my retirement, my benefits, and the other streams of income that I have. I can sit back in a hammock and do nothing for the rest of my life. I do this because I absolutely, truly enjoy it. And I'm only going to take on so many people. And by the way, I'm only going to take on people that I enjoy being around because I'm going to spend a lot of time with them, right? And I'm going to share some information with them. I might work with 5 people, say at $2,000 a month for each of them. That's a pretty damn good income. And then I might have, the group training that I'll do, every other week or something like that. Maybe have 20 or 30 people in there doing that, paying, a couple $100 a month for that or something like that, however long they want to do it. And then I might have the DIY one for $97 a month. So, and again, right. I used to have a problem charging people for some things, but now I don't. Because I found that if I don't charge, they don't do anything with it, and they just waste my time.
Yeah. No, 100%. Hey, I want to thank you so much for spending time with us. Great conversation. Absolutely loved it. And, I really appreciate everything that you're doing with your podcast, the business, everything, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, brother. And I dig what you got going on, man. Keep it up.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. So, Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest, the host of Men of Abundance podcast. Go to menofabundance.com. I want you to subscribe, rate, and review Wally's show. He's one of the top podcasts in 2019 to listen to. So go to menofabundance.com. Connect with him on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you need a tune-up, system, strategy, something in your business, get his no BS business breakthrough, how to double your lead conversions, triple your revenue in less than 45 minutes. Go get his book. If anything resonated with you, I ask that you subscribe, rate, and review my show wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts. As we close, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Woo!
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.